Yo, Challenger Coach in here. So since there are paragraphs to learn about Yumi, I'm gonna tell you guys this whole patch, what's it about. So the important thing about to know about Yumi, her base stats got a little bit nerfed. Now her passive works sort of like a Soraka Q, you can heal yourself, heal an ally of course, and right now it has a 20 to 10 second cooldown. Aside of that, you get 50 bonus range. Now her Q applies an on-hit effect to your own ally champion, it scales with AP and of course with crit chance. It will deal a lot of damage when you're attached to your best friend, and the slow will be way higher. You get a 50 attack range, the width is a bit smaller. Now we don't provide any more bonus, how is it called, adaptive force. Right now we provide bonus 10 to 20% healing, which is good with champions that can both heal and shield. So in general it will be good with those bloodthirster champions that also get overheal or they have some form of healing and shielding in their kit. So it's definitely great in our meta. Also, they also get a 3, up to 5, up to 7, 9, 11 on hit healing, not damage healing, right? This is affected by Yumi's heal and shield power, so Moonstone will be insane on Yumi. Side of the trading heals for shield, so now her e-shield, still good because the shield is higher than it was. Allies receive a 20% movement speed bonus while Yumi's e-shield persists, that's really great. And now the bonus attack speed in the earlier levels is higher. It also provides mana, which can be great, not too much. It can be doubled, so from 36 you can go up to 72, which is great if they have low amount of mana. It does not have a best friend passive. Her ultimate is now controllable like a Vel'Koz ultimate, and it also slows, so it's really similar to a Vel'Koz ult actually. But the interesting thing is the best friend actually gets bonus armor and magic resist, and their healing, so she heals right now with her ultimate, which is also, if there is a best friend around, they get healed by 130 percentage, which is really great. Aatrox, let's go to Aatrox really quick. So Infernal Chain, so it slows. Well, the thing is you usually use max your W after your E, so this is a really late game nerf. Buff, my bad, buff. 35 percentage, from 25 to 35 percentage, 10 percentage more. What does this mean? It means that right now on Aatrox you will slow harder, which means it's harder for people just to walk out of your W without you being able to connect your Qs, which is a good buff. And he gets 5 percentage more damage in the later parts of the game and 2.5, which is helps, but it's not too much helps. Ashe got a change. They're pushing her into an AD carry instead of a support, of course. So empowered Q duration, the mana cost is lowered by 20, and the empowered Q lasts 2 more seconds. Now the physical damage of our W is reduced, of course, but it does not nerf support Ashe. This does not nerf support Ashe. In fact, in Mei, in some ways, she even gets buffed, so I guess her ult nerf does matter, but it's like it may even buff support Ashe. It's hard to balance it, right? So reasonable nerf on our Alien Soul base, that's nerf because Rod of Ages our Alien Soul can be OP, he's really tank. His Q also got nerfed apparently by 5 percentage, I do believe. So now the scaling is a bit worse and the Stardust scaling is the same. The base damage scaling did get nerfed? It did not get nerfed, okay. So Azir got some really, again, paragraphs, guys. So his base stats got nerfed because a tiny bit, right, HP, but then his armor scaling, but mana growth, base mana is a bit smaller, but the mana growth is higher, attack damage growth higher again, base attack speed not change, attack speed ratio is a bit higher, attack speed growth is higher, which is really great scaling wise. Now from the other hand, his passive will be stronger, but it will last 30 and not 60 seconds, right? He will deal way more damage, as you guys can see it with your eyes, from 150 to 230 to 410. The AP ratio will be higher, so this will hit like a mountain right now. Special effects. So right now it applies spell effects such as Liandry, Luden's Echo and so on, right? Rallies if you would ever go for it, whatever, right? Whatever you have. Sandisk has more HP, it also does have more armor in the later levels, or at 30 to 90, something like that. It's based on levels, so it's similar as it was. Sandisk magic resist, again 30 to 90 from 100, so it definitely has less. Sandisk debuff, loses 100 armor while Azir is far away or dead, loses 100 armor and magic resist while Azir is far away or dead. Cooldown will be smaller, which allows him to push more, skirmish more. It's a definitely big buff. Azir Sandisk will no longer lose armor and magic resist while Azir is untargetable. That's great. That's actually really good if he's on. He's insane. Magic damage, so at Inzibit his Q got nerfed, but then after after 200 AP, it's just gonna be better, so it's definitely good scaling wise. Early game wise, he got nerfed. Soldiers don't provide any more attack speed, right? But they provide additional damage, which can be good for his one-shot oriented build, total magic damage. So PvP people will go Nashor to even out, even the attack speed lag, right? Total damage is 50 to 150 to 200. Oh, that's definitely above. There is not a party bonus that has been granted. The Balazir has 3 soldiers spawned, has been removed. That's fine. So his E also did get nerfed a bit, I do believe. It did get nerfed. So by 15%, but the base stats didn't get. This is a joke. Caitlyn is still OP. Reasonable buff. He needs to be buffed. So finally they fixed the mana issues Fizz does have, which in general means that maybe we'll see more proto belt Fizz, which is needed, right? He needs a proto belt, but he always goes Ludens or Liandry because he has mana issues. Now we will see more proto belt Fizzes, and maybe the champion will be useful. Reasonable nerf again, because he has so much point and click oriented damage, it's unreal, so that definitely had to be nerfed. By 60 in the later levels, by 5 in the earlier levels, this deserve nerf. Now this will help a lot in low elo. In higher ranks it's not that useful, but it's still great. So GP players will lose a lot of their win rate, honestly, after these nerfs. That's how I feel like, that's my opinion. Jinx gets a decent buff, more attack speed growth, then again her Zapper slows more, costs less mana, insane. Her Rocket also gets a really good buff, so now it's easier to steal Drakes, Barons and so on. Really great. Really good buff on the cannon side, less cooldown, 10% more AP. Now you have an indicator for noobs, and also you have a better wave clear, which allows him to roam, get better resets. Really good. Insane LeBlanc buff as well. She can clear waves way faster, she can go for multi-kills more often because of this Q buff, which also applies to his Mythicar, which is really great. This is a high Gilo change for Pantheon. He has less heal regen again, but his attack speed ratio is higher, so he restacks his passive faster, mana cost lower on his Q, cooldown lower, and also the tap wind up time is a bit smaller, so it's harder to sidestep it. It's more so high elo buff, and also his E has more cooldown in the later levels, I suppose. That's fine. Kiana gets a reasonable buff again. What does he even get buff? 20 damage, that's fine. It's because you're gonna get 2 Qs, right? So that's why it's 20. He has 1 less second cooldown, that's great. Attack damage growth, it's less, that's totally fine. Again, they're buffing the base, they're nerfing, so they're buffing, wait, they're changing his ADO, they're nerfing him actually, okay, they don't want Tramus to deal damage. So Rumble gets a really insane buff. The idea of this buff is that you can reduce MR by 40% when you maxed out your E, which also stacks. So both of them actually do stack, so it goes up to like something 60%, which is more than a Trundle ult, insane. Samira gets a buff because she was kind of worthless, so they tried to balance it in the middle, right? So they don't want her to be worthless, they don't want her to be OP, so they're trying to balance her out. Tryndamere gets base stats nerf, buff, my bad, which is definitely deserved. He just sucks ass in this meta, he's just bad, but maybe this will even him out. Twitch, AP Twitch does get a nerf, Rip Retail, I guess. I don't know why, but it's just like, it's just really a niche pick. I don't know why did it get changed. Physical damage, so do they nerf her, do they buff her? They apparently do nerf her early game at Teens a bit. That 5 damage won't do shit, honestly. Maybe it will, cause multiple feathers count, and the cooldown will be, I feel like the champion is still will be useful. Yori gets nerfed, but nobody plays the champion, but they are also watching out in case the champion will be useless, cause Prowler's Claw Eclipse build can be too strong. 1 E hits you, you die. Magic resist nerfed. E has more cooldown. Less cooldown, my bad. So, less cooldown. This is definitely a nerf, so if he's facing mages, he will definitely have a harder time. Jungle adjustments, really important to watch out for. So, camps in general give more gold, which means farm-oriented junglers like Karthus, Diana and so on will get more value out of it compared to the junglers that are rather gank-oriented and they don't like or they can't CS as fast, right? So this means that they will be better in our current meta jungle and lane experience. So junglers get less lane experience from spam ganking, of course. Oracle ability power. What? 90 to 60. What do you mean ability power? 120 to 1 to 60, so they can deward less often junglers, I suppose. Cosmic Drive does get a change, but I don't think so it will be worth, so more AP, less HP. It's really a trade-off instead of a direct buff. Now this is really good to play the Steel Caps buff, because champions like Fiora or what else, like champions like Darius and then Camille and so on, like Camille especially, right? So it treats every attack as a basic attack, even like empowered basic attacks like a Camille Q, whatever. I don't think so it applies to the true damage though. But for example, right now, before this change, like Darius's W's damage did not get reduced by plated steel caps. It is 12% damage reduction actually, because it counts as a spell and not an ability. Seraph gets nerfed, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter too much, honestly. A change on the Grasp of Undying, so what does this do? 1.7% damage. So you heal less, but now you have a 3 base healing and you stack more HP, so it will be better for HP scaling champions, but they will sustain less, but they don't always need too high sustain, so I guess in some way it's a buff and nerf. 10% of missing health, 2.5% of maximum health, plus 5 the percentage of missing health. It's better for tankier champs, I suppose, now, but it heals less. Tower Rubble has been removed from the game. What does this mean? I actually don't know what I would say. Aram, we don't care. Not care about Aram so much, honestly. Clash Bilgewater, don't care. Champions, pricing, don't care. I have all of them. I mean, not much, right? Bug fixes. Maybe these remove some mechanics, add some mechanics to the game, but I don't really care. And these are some new cool skins, so make sure to do some things I've been recommending you guys. So there are some winners and losers out of this patch, but one thing I would recommend: play Rumble, right? Pantheon is a bit better. Play LeBlanc, play Cannon. You could play Jinx, that's fine. Fizz is a bit better. Caitlyn nerf doesn't matter, keep playing Caitlyn. You could limit test with Azir, see how he feels. I think it's not a bad change. Ashe still viable, don't care where you play her. Yuumi still viable, but you gotta know which champions to combine her with. That's it for now, have a nice day.